Kat, I can hear you. I mean, I can't hear you, but I can see you commenting. Can you hear me? Because I thought I could hear myself. I checked on my feed, on my monitor feed, so you should be able to hear me, dude. Uh, let me check again. Can you hear me? Yeah. I thought I could. Yeah, no, I'm supposedly there. So, unless they already shut me down. Oh, okay, there you go. Just making sure there, Kat. How you doing, man? Been a while. So yeah, I'm doing this thing. You know, uh, I've been listening to the Duke's box set, of course, as I do. I don't know, God, no, since it was released, I don't know how many times I've listened to the whole bloody thing, from top to bottom. So it's always inspiring to me, and so I've had this month off from my regular work, and so for December, half of which toward a furlough because of COVID, and then that kind of dovetailed straight into the holidays, and they're going to be closed anyway, so it kind of worked out, for good or bad. But the good part is that I kind of remembered, I think, not even rediscovered, just remembered the person I really am, as far as just, not living for the job, you know what I mean? So having a moment to kind of reconnect with my own sort of daily, hourly rhythms of trying to be creative and just not married to the damn job, So, it's good that it's still there. I thought it was over, or I didn't. It's hard to feel when you're in the midst of your day job. You know what I mean? So anyway, so again, the idea, for those who don't know at this point, is the idea is to do this almost every night. I've been kind of lax on that. I took a snow day yesterday because, well, it snowed. And so, it's up to me. I'm not beholden to anybody. I'm doing this for my own benefit and for those people that want to listen, but also so that I can put together some sort of a voice reel or something like that towards potentially looking at my second act if I, retire early or try to just do something different. I need to try and do something different. The only thing that I've got really is left is my voice. My rock and roll looks are not what they used to be. So I can't count on those anymore. And, it's hard to lift speakers on the stands without it becoming a frickin' exercise in physics and algebra to make sure I'm not going to hurt myself, And so Kat, no, I don't teach at university, but I work at one. I work in the IT department, classroom and event support. So what I do now, well, most of what I was doing was event support. I was the event person. So, but obviously with COVID, not so many events this past semester, obviously. So, last spring when we were all remote, obviously there were no events. I did some Zoom driving, and that was a big part of what I did in the fall as well, for symposiums and this and that. But there really wasn't many events. There was a couple, but not anything to, hang a career on, so to speak. So I kind of, I don't, I don't know, we don't know what's going to happen in the spring. I mean, vaccine's great, we're all here, but I don't see this getting back to normal until this time next year. Truthfully, I think we've got to be realistic about this, right? It's still out there. The vaccine, as much as it's saying it's going to do what we hope it's going to do, we hope that's the case. So anyway, so that being said, I really needed to start to rethink potentially what I'm going to be doing a year from now, because I can't necessarily look to the job and say, yeah, I'm definitely going to have the same job in a year, even less than that. So got to start putting some other coals on that fire, start kind of putting some things out there, kind of manipulating the electricity and all that kind of stuff, and kind of, just doing it and seeing what happens. And if people are interested, then great, and no events, no cry. Yeah, well, I mean, it's that double-edged sword of hey, it's great not having to put together PAs and stuff, but I kind of enjoy doing that, so I mean, either way, COVID notwithstanding, that's something that was eventually going to be, no spring chicken. There's going to come a point where I'm not going to be able to pick up that speaker anymore. I mean, the idea would have been is that I would become a lead where I would be the person just coordinating and basically, say I had like a bunch of work study students or people that are under me, and I say, hey, put that speaker on that stand and do all that kind of stuff, and have them do the work, have them do the kneeling down and the taping of the wires and all that kind of stuff, because that's the stuff that's hard, and be more of a teacher in that regard, I suppose. And I've been doing that, so I mean, I have definitely been showing folks how to do things, students and otherwise, and so so that's kind of where I'm at. That being said, I'm technically supposed to be going back to work in January. We'll see. But I kind of can't hang all of my eggs on one coat hook. I'm totally mixing up a metaphor because I can. Anyway, so I have to kind of just look forward to some other avenues of things to do. Obviously, I'm still doing music somewhat, but I'm also doing production for other people. I'm still able to, work on that remotely somewhat. Obviously, the technology allows it, which is a lovely thing. And the fact that I can basically kind of do a radio show from my house, how fucking cool is that? I mean, I think back, even 10 years ago, that having just enough technology to be able to do this in a way that's, it's very cool. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, putting the energy out there and stuff like that maybe somebody's interested or hears my voice and says, hey, he sounds like the kind of guy who I'd want to read my book or something like that, for the folks that can't see or can't read or whatever, that kind of stuff. So voiceover work, that's the idea. So I had to start somewhere. But again, so definitely taking a page, especially tonight, from the Firesign Theater folks and how they would do their radio shows. Now, of course, they had 4 people working in tandem, in random tandem, I like to call it. Their radio shows were a certain amount of organized chaos. And, if you listen to them as I have, and I've ingested them, and I've absorbed them at this point because I love them so much. I think it's seriously my most favorite thing of the Firesign Theater that I love is the radio shows. There's an immediacy to them that is beautiful. The improvisation, and some of it wasn't improv, some of it was just reading. I learned a lot about just how the human voice can be such a wonderful conveyor of everything. Anyway, so tonight I thought I would mix it up a little just because I can, because it's a Friday night. Again, people should be home. You shouldn't be out carousing because COVID will find you, or a dumb human without a mask will find you. It's that kind of thing. So if you're hopefully home and here and not doing anything, and you can come, you listen to me do shit. And so the idea is I've got a number of things potentially on the docket tonight. So I have obviously just shooting the shit with you like this in that way. Hey Mark, I see you at 9. I should be here at 9. Yeah. And anyway, so I've got some things I want to do. So I've got some things on the docket. So we'll probably listen to some music that I'm in the process of working on. So as much as I'm doing some remasters of some friends of mine, I'm also working on remastering my own catalog to get up onto Bandcamp and kind of get everything in one place, you know what I mean? So that people, if they were interested, could find my work in and right now Bandcamp is really the only place, because it's certainly not going on any streaming site. I might, I've some of them, there's a few things on YouTube. So I might put like some sort of lyric video, if you will, or up there, but I'm not hanging my hat on YouTube either. But so I figured just make it available on Bandcamp, and I don't expect really anything. I mean, after this long at the periphery of the business, clearly the idea of making money from it is not foremost in my mind. So But anyway, but I would like to kind of get it all together, and there is an album that it's unfinished that I really want to finish. People that have been hearing me saying, probably for like 15 fucking years about this album that's been, oh yeah, I got to finish that record. It's like, I'm sure people are just shaking their heads at who know me and who I've been saying this over and over again. It says, will you just fucking finish it already? I hear you, believe me, dude. It's in my head to do that. And, this month off, I've been able to work on it a little bit, so a little more. Anyway. But also with that, the other thing I wanted to do, which I just thought would be kind of fun, is, and this kind of harkens back to my Meatballs Fluxus days. Now, there's a bunch of you who know me, obviously, from my days at AS220. Hey, Colleen, how you doing? Good to see you here, beautiful. Back in 1985, I would have been 20. Yes. Right? Yeah, that's right. So 20 years old, AS220, the second iteration of AS220, which was on Richmond Street. We had just moved there, and myself, Umberto Crenca, and Manny Pombo were just jamming together to do a performance, and we called ourselves the Three Meatballs. Now, that was the beginning of a crazy, about almost 10 years of craziness with them, and so one of the things that about Fluxus, the Fluxus movement, was a certain amount of random chaos. So talk about what I was saying about the Firesign Theater. And so what I wanted to do tonight would be to I have a little random generator, online generator here. Actually, you should see. I'm going to fade to it. So random.org, and you see a bunch of dice there, right? And a number subscription cipher. So at some point in the night, again, this won't take up the entire night, I'm just going to throw those dice, so to speak. And the idea for the 5 dice is that that adds up to 30. So basically what it comes down to is that I'm going to throw the dice, whatever comes up, the letter that corresponds to, I'm going to go to my very small library here and look for a book that starts with that letter. I'm going to throw the dice again to find a page to go to, and then I'm just going to read that page. Could be mid-sentence, might not, and I'm just going to just do that a few times, just for shits and giggles, because I can. So again, it's all cleverly staged, you see, because it's one of those things that as part of the sizzle reel that I want to do, of me doing different things with my voice. So like reading books, reading newspapers, magazines, voiceover work. Well, obviously people that know me know that I'm a singer, obviously, and have been for all of my life. So I've got plenty of examples of that, obviously, but I don't have a lot of examples of me just talking. So, and also just doing this thing on mic and getting more comfortable with it, with the idea of it. I mean, obviously people that are up here, Ray, I see Ray up here. Ray was somebody who would have been a regular at my open mics at the Everyman back 2014, 15, something like that. The last 10 years are a blur, as I'll be honest, as far as just kind of getting a sense of trying to remember my timeline at this point at 55 is becoming very difficult. Anyway, so I was the host of an open mic for years, and almost 20 years, between Custom House Tavern, then the Everyman, then a bunch of other different places, and so I and I'm comfortable on stage pretty much. So I mean, what's really different than that? What's really nice about this, just me on the microphone, is that I have no hecklers for the most part. I mean, y'all, I'm allowing the comments, obviously. But I got to obviously keep an eye on them. So, I mean, my friends will be nice to me, I'm sure. But, just in case there's anybody that comes on that decides to be a prick or something like that. I mean, I suppose it's inevitable. I advanced mask in what? In SL? Now I know that's I believe that's a record that was Robert Fripp and Andy Summers, right? That duet that they did. I think that was what that was called. Is that what you're talking about, Ray? I'm not sure. Anyway, I am damned be he that heckles you. All right, Carter, how you doing, man? I hope you're feeling better. That scorpion sting you talked of. I hope you were able to battle it fully, and that you're on the mend and all that. So that's all we can say from there. So hopefully I see you're here. That's all that matters at that point. So December is rough. Obviously, I think we're all realizing. I mean, for Christmas is pretty much a wash, if you will. I don't know. I mean, I felt like I mean, my Christmas plans, the things that I normally do on a Christmas day, are canceled for sure. I mean, we're just out of an abundance of caution. We are not going to be visiting and all that kind of stuff. Nor are we going to exchange food or presents or anything like that. We're just trying. It would be. We just don't want to. We don't want to chance it. And that's fine. I would rather we skip one Christmas than have something horrible happen. So that is what it is. But it is still sad and all. So when that came down as far as the decision, I was really kind of bummed out, and I wasn't sure whether to just kind of say, fuck it. But then, oddly enough, the neighbors across the street put up their lights, their Christmas lights, and I think I put up there somewhere on Facebook that the one thing that I retained all these years from my youth was, being brought up as a lower middle class Catholic. Was the Christmas lights on the houses. Always just sort of was really still always, it was always exciting, and, I just remember again going to a specific one of my uncle's houses who, he had a huge house up on way up in Phoenix on like one of the hills that literally looked over the valley of West Warwick. And you could see all of the houses from that valley. There was like this big rock that we would climb on the top or in the back of in the backyard there. They hated when we climbed it, but they just let us do it. The parents and the the adults, and but you could see all of the lights in the valley at around this time of year, and those are the fondest memories I have, I think, of my childhood. The rest can kind of go to hell, but so I retained that. So anyway, long story short, the neighbors put up their lights. I said, all right, fuck it, I'll put up my little pre-done tree, and some lights around the window as I normally do, and just for that little moment of you look at the tree and you go, joy is in the moments. Joy is not something that lasts for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I think we would die if there was a joyful feeling in our head for weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't think the human species can handle that. Joy is in these little moments that we can kind of string together, And so anyway, Christmas is what it is this year. Just more than anything, just be safe. Don't be stupid. Wear your goddamn mask. Wear it over your fucking nose and over your mouth. I say this all the time. Anyway, so enough of the preaching. So anyway, I think the first thing. Right. So anyway, the other thing that I was going to talk about that potentially I would like to do tonight is along with the remastering of some of my work that I've also been looking at. And this kind of goes along with the Meatballs Fluxus theme as well, as far as the randomizer and reading from the books, is that I had been in the process of putting all of so I kind of am in charge, or have kind of absorbed the Meatballs Fluxus archive pretty much. That's pictures and documents and most importantly though videotape. So we a ton of VHS tapes from the day of that pretty much range from the start to close to the very start to pretty close to the very end. Before we disbanded in 1994. So I have some of that stuff. It hasn't been fully remastered, but I have the stuff transferred. So technically speaking, that's maybe later. We can watch a little Meatballs Fluxus just for shits and giggles, because I know some of y'all haven't seen some of that stuff. I know some of y'all have, but I thought it would be kind of fun to do that. And one of the other things I think that I would like to do at some point would be to maybe get some of my guest players, some of the ex Meatballs up here to have a chat potentially while we watch some of these things. And then the last thing I'll say before I go forward is I'm gonna try on Christmas Eve. So we're talking. Wow. Yeah. Well, that would have been a week from yesterday. So is that right? I think that's right. Wednesday or Thursday. When the hell is Christmas at this point? I don't even know. I'm not sure of the. Where's the thing? Come on now. It won't let me do it. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Christmas Eve is Thursday night. Okay. Right. Because a week from today is Christmas. Okay. So anyway, Thursday night, Christmas Eve. I'm gonna probably do some sort of long form thing where usually what I do on Christmas Eve, I just kind of hang out, I drink, I eat shitty food, and I watch, Christmas episodes and listen to Christmas music and stuff like that. Now, I don't have any presents to wrap this year. That's usually when I do it, so that'll be kind of a bummer. But, I figure why not do it live? If people have nothing else to do, come on by on Christmas Eve, and, we'll have some virtual eggnog together. And speaking of a beverage, so tonight, you hear this? Do you hear that? I am drinking probably one of my favorite drinks ever. If you get a chance to get this, and now this is Virgil's Zero Sugar Root Beer. Okay, now I do this because the idea would be, if I send this to Virgil's to see if, hey, I'm not getting paid to do this, but if I could get a sponsorship deal from Virgil's to do this, there's the dream, right? There's the dream. So anyway, it's really, really good. It's really, really good. You would not notice, and it's all kind of natural stuff. Like there's no weird shit in it like regular soda. Excuse me, I have shit in my eye, gunk in my eye. Sorry. Anyway, so let's see. Let's do something fun. All right. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to play a few songs from some stuff that I'm working on. Let's see. Burned hard into memory, so fucking good. Yeah. Well, and that's another reason to kind of stay in and be safe, so that at some point Mark and I can get back to doing that, right? In the same room, that is. Unfortunately, it's hard to do online and virtually together, to be able to do it in tandem so that it sounds great. So, but yeah, that's the idea, man. So hopefully at some point we'll be able to do that. Let's see. Okay. So one of the albums, back at the earlier in the week, I did a full re-listen to one of my albums called The Invisible Years. And so I basically, what I do for a remaster. So basically what it is that you're all kind of watching me work. So when I do a remaster, obviously the first thing I do is just listen to the record and say, all right, well, what does it need? What do I need to do? Do I have the original elements to do this? How's this all going to work, right? And so I did that with that record. And again, I want to put that up on Bandcamp and make it ready, make it available. The record that technically would have come up after that was taken mono-orally. So the other night I did the taken orally. So basically, that's the same record. It's basically it's the same. It's 10 songs in both stereo and mono, right? So I think some people probably have the record, maybe some don't. I'm not sure. But again, and I that's again, I want to make it available up in Bandcamp. But I also have CD copies of it. I have a bunch left that I'll make available up there as well, but it's limited, right? So anyway, I thought what I would do would be to play a few things from that record. Like maybe we could do it in a couple of steps. Like, so maybe do like the first side of it, which is the first 5 songs, and you'll see me commenting on them in the comment box, so that you can understand what my thought process is. Now, the thought process of the record itself was that I wanted to make a record, or put together a record that had a the re-releases of a lot of the 60s records, especially like the Beatles records and things like that. They were putting both mono and stereo versions of the records on like the same CD, just to make everything kind of completist. And I'm a completist when it comes to that kind of record collecting, because I'm a nerd that way. So I thought, oh well, here's an interesting opportunity as well as a challenge, because I thought, all right, well, there's 10 songs. I could fit it twice on a CD without a problem. And so the first version of it would be in regular stereo as usual, but then I would do a version of it which is all in mono, as if it was like an old style 60 thing. So the idea would be to challenge myself to mix the songs in mono. Mono meaning it's not like splayed in stereo left and right. It's just like just mono, like it comes through a car radio. And it was challenging. Now that said, I think for me, I actually prefer the mono version of the record. I feel if you were to listen to the 2 records side by side, which is kind of the idea as well, I think some people might think the same. One of the other things that I also did between the 2 versions is, like they did in the 60s, there were little differences between the stereo and mono versions of things, like, maybe something came in a little different on the vocal, or there was a different effect on the mono version, or maybe the speed was a little different on the stereo version, or an effect was slightly more pronounced on one of the versions, or something like that. So I kind of did the same thing, just again because it was fun to do. So yeah, well, I'm gonna play some stuff. So hang out, chill out, comment on the thing. I can see you all commenting. Thanks for coming up here, by the way, all you folks. And let's see. So we're gonna go first. I'm gonna make sure I got my volume up here. We're gonna go first to well, this is a song I know I played live at the open mic many times. And it opens the record, the Taken Mon Aurally record. And again, these, just so that you're aware, when this stuff is coming to you, if you're listening to headphones, it is going to come in on mono and not stereo. So let me make sure I got that. All right, so we're going to start this. This is from the record Taken Mon Aurally, and it's called Other Pages. Oh, no, it's not. What happened? Oh, wow. Okay, never mind. I'm on something completely different. Let me try this again. Here we go. A little hot.
I'd like to talk about cages or whips and chains, having no legs, having no crotch, nothing that lasts. It's already written onto other pages. It's already written out and fades away. Why is time so slow? Why aren't these things to go? Why are hearts still beat with nothing there? We looked into each other's eyes, tried to find each other's minds. For what it's worth, at least we tried to find not angry at you per se, not angry at me, just angry how it all went down that day. What can I say? We did the best we could. In who can I confide what I feel when I talk with you? Since my heart came up and down and lay like a lemming takes the air. It's just that I miss you. I just missed you. That's all. Sounds of your voice. It's just so quiet, quiet I've never heard before. It's just that I miss you. I just missed you. That's all. That's all. That's all.
Right, that would be technically side one of, side one. If you know, if in my mind, like I said, if the Take an Aurally album, if I was able to do vinyl versions of these, as the '60s was, stereo version, mono version, that would have been side one of the record, and of course you have to then walk over to your record player, and you got to flip it over nicely and put it back on the thing, and then you got to clean it and do all this stuff, or you take a pee break at that point, or whatever it is that you do when you flip a record over, Kids these days, well, actually, I was going to say kids these days don't know that paradigm, but clearly that's changing. So I go to the record stores often, still do. Try to be safe about it, but I still do. And, it's very heartening to see young folks browsing through records. Now, I'm sure that there's some people that are doing it just for the quiche factor, but the quiche factor. But I see other young people actually really getting into the collecting part of it, the art of it, and just the sort of visceral nature of it. Visceral versus virtual. And, music is visceral, I think, as much as we are currently virtual, and most everything is turning virtual in a lot of ways. If we, and this is why this year has been so hard on everybody, because we haven't been able to go out and be visceral with our music at open mics or whatever. I mean, I think some people are doing that. I don't know. I guess I would caution them if that's happening, I just, I know it's frustrating, but I think we got to wait, before we do that. But anyway, so yeah. Anyway, the idea of vinyl is, I think it's back. I think it's where it needs to kind of be again. If you want, at this point, I can, there's 5 more songs. It'd be basically side 2 of the record. I figure, why the heck? I can just keep going. It's not that long, really. The next, so I flip the record over. You put the needle on, and the next song that would open side 2 would be a song called 66 Strings Attached, which is an instrumental. And I will play that for you now. Here we go.
Truly am disguised. said, I need to find someone just like you, so sweet, such care in your eyes, someone who listens just like you do and would never stoop to lies. Such a well-worn refrain to never hear again. A sickly song in my head, it comes around again and again and again. She says, I need to find someone just like you, so sweet, such care in your eyes, someone who listens just like you do and would never stoop to thrown back through time to another bit of different scene, the same life. Like a cat being fed, it comes around again and again and again. Well, every year and day it seems that everything might change, but still I have this same old heart that still feels disengaged. Are you just another end to come? Where should I begin before I'm done to start? Such a well-worn refrain, I hope you'll never hear again. Sickly song in my head, it comes around again and again and again. She'll say, I need to find someone just like you, so sweet, such care in your eyes, someone who listens just like you do and would never stoop to I've been alone for 7,000 years. I've been alone for 7,000 years. I can't remember the last time I didn't have a pillow full of the last girl I loved left my heart in pieces on the ground. The last girl I loved left my heart in pieces on the ground. It blew up in her hands and she acted like she never even heard the sound. 7,000 years.
I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so there's that record. So that was taken mono-aurally. Yeah, so David Bush had brought up a couple of comments regarding the stereo versus mono and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not sure how the mono was, like I said, it was very challenging because I had never done it before, and it's not necessarily an easy thing to do because especially with that much stuff on it, you're trying to get everything heard as best as you can, and it's an interesting task. It's an interesting set of challenges that you can't just sort of But so the idea, I would like to remaster it and just to see. I don't want to overdo it. Obviously, I don't want to do something to it that it wasn't intended to do. I just want to try and clean up some of the murk a little, if possible. Still keeping it in mono, but just kind of try to pull out some of the details on some of the pieces. Some of them sound pretty good already, but just to try to bring a little more out of it if I can. And I've got better equipment, I've got some better equipment now that I can kind of handle it a little better. Now that being said, also at the time, that record was also done mostly analog, other than mixing to digital. But it was all done on 8-track. 8-track tape and all mixed in the old-fashioned way where I'm working knobs and faders and things. There was no computer programming at all, and those mixes were all done to I'm sorry, that's right. No, that's right. Those mixes were actually all done to tape. That's right. And then, of course, from there to turn it into CD had to be, the tapes had to be brought to and transferred over. So it's a mostly analog record, and it definitely has that sound to it. And I don't want to get rid of that sound, but the software suite that I have now, I think would work well in bringing that stuff out, but without losing the that that analog warmth, so there's that. So that's that record. So far I've gone through my last record, which was my first major sort of record, was The Invisible Years, and then this record. So then the next record, technically speaking, to listen to at some point, not tonight, clearly. I can only take so much of myself in one evening. It must be a bitch living with him. Yeah, it is. The next record would be The Long Term, which was CD that I put out in 1998. Now that CD is the only CD that I've ever done, the only album project that I ever did where I wrote the songs within about a 30-day period or so and recorded them immediately, and I got that record done within the year that the music was actually written. So it only took me about a year, maybe a year and a half or something to get that done. That's never happened. All of my other albums have taken, like, first out, Invisible Years took 16 years. This album took like almost 25 years. It was stupid. And then the current album that I'm still in the process of trying to finish is about 20 years. They're about almost 22 years now. I don't know. I don't know if it's just that I get in my own way or my own head, or just stuff, life happens and I start working with other people and producing, and, there's only so many hours in a day. Now, if I didn't have to have a regular job, well, things might be different. But, hey, I needed healthcare, so I kind of had no choice. I had to kind of do it the way I did it, unfortunately. So I think that's most of our situations right now. I think we all can relate, right? But I don't want to go there tonight. So next up, because we can, I thought that I'll do some reading for you. So for those that have joined midstream here at the top of the show, I was going to do some random generated readings. And what I mean by random generated readings is that I'm going to throw these dice from this little random.org generator. It's going to pick for me a number, and then I'm going to correspond that number with a letter, and then that letter is going to correspond with the beginning of a book. Then I'm going to throw the dice one more time, and then find whatever page it drops to, and just read that page. And I'm going to do that a few times. So it's going to be random. It's going to be non-contextual, but, who knows? Maybe the universe will create a thread of its own that you can put together in your own little mind, I suppose. And by little mind, I mean, your mind. Not that I think you have a little mind. Believe me. All humans have little minds. We're all just inhabiting it. That's, Anyway. So let's see here. I'm going to roll this again. Hang on. All right. So I'm going to roll. All right. So let's see. Let me count. That is 6, 9, that's 10, 11, that's 16 plus 6 is, what is 16 plus 6? 22. So let's see. 22 begins, that's the letter V. Do I have anything with the letter V on it? Let me see. Hang tight. 1 second. While I look for something that begins with the letter V. This should be interesting. I'm still here. Don't mind me. I'll try to talk as I keep going, but I'm just going to try and see if I can find a book that starts with the letter V. See, like I said, I didn't plan this out ahead of time. This is all okay. That's interesting. So, let's see. Okay. Yes, I'm wearing sweats because it's comfy. Okay. So it's not the name of the book, but it's the name of the author. And it's a good one, actually. It's Victor Borge, My Favorite Intermissions, Lives of the Musical Greats and Other Facts You Never Knew You Were Missing. Okay. So, all right, let me throw the dice again to find the page number. Let's see. That didn't. Hang on. There we go. Okay. So that's 6. What is that? That's 3, 18, 19. Okay. So that's page 19. All right. Let's see what we got on page 19. Like I said, it may start in the middle of a sentence for all I know. Here we go. Oh, it actually doesn't. Go figure. Okay. Okay, so this is page 19 of Victor Borge's My Favorite Intermissions, Lives of the Musical Greats. Let's see. Okay, kiddies, I'm gonna read you a bedtime story now, or a number of bedtime stories, and they may be frightening, they may be funny or sad, but you're gonna have to live with it, right? Okay. So this the title of this is Mainline Music. I'm not gonna do it in Victor Borge's voice. In my head, I'm going to hear his voice, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to try and mimic his voice. As for the coffee cantata itself, it's the original Generation Gap story. Don't we have 100,000 troubles with our children, moans the father in his very first aria. My daughter won't listen to a word I say. Pretty soon the girl comes in and admits that she's hooked on coffee. If I don't get a shot 3 times a day, she says, I'm no better than a piece of dried up goat meat. Papa tries to reason with her. He argues, he threatens, but nothing works until he promises to find her a handsome husband if she'll kick the habit. At last she agrees to give up the brew for a beau, but she and Bach really have the last laugh together. In a marvelous closing trio, she confides that she'll only marry a man who will let her drink all the coffee she wants. Okay. So the coffee cantata is something that Bach wrote. It was one of a frivolous piece of that he wrote. Okay, so and more on Bach. Theory time, it's called. All of this brings us back to our original question, which is why Bach, who worked in almost every musical form known in the 18th century, so carefully avoided opera. Well, I think it's because German opera was in such a disreputable state that he simply didn't want to have anything to do with it. Opera audiences in those days came to be seen not to listen to the music. They would play cards, shell walnuts, chomp on oranges, and call out to friends on the other side of the theater. The singers weren't much better. While one performer was doing an aria, the others might be off on the other side of the stage arguing about something, or else they'd wander down into the orchestra to greet acquaintances. And when they did sing, they couldn't have cared less about what the composer intended. All they wanted was a chance to show off their techniques, and they were forever adding all sorts of runs and shakes and trills that weren't in the music. I'm moving to page 20. They liked to have duels with the oboe player or the flutist to see who could hold a note longer. No wonder Bach figured it would be more fun to forget about operas and remember simple things like the St. Matthew Passion. That's a good one. I haven't read this book in for ages. That's kind of funny. So I'm on page 20. I'm already going off the grid. I'm going off of the rules. So I'm breaking the rules. I'm breaking my own rules already. Mainly because page 20, there's only one more short piece, and that's the end of like this chapter. So what the heck? Anyways, finale. Fortunately, Bach found enough to keep himself busy even without operas. He taught hordes of students, he inspected organs, he invented all sorts of odd musical instruments, like a lute with a keyboard and a glockenspiel with pedals. And he composed everything from mighty masses down to cute little cannons. Everything he created bore the stamp of genius, but along with that genius went hard work and pride. That was Johann Sebastian Bach. This undertaking has been carried out to the best of my ability, he said about his musical offering. He could well have said the same thing about his whole life. Okay, that's cool. Well, that's handy because Bach is definitely probably my favorite classical composer for sure. And so just a little background. So in this book, so there's a whole sort of mini chapter of these little verses about Bach that are kind of interesting. I'm going to read one more because they're kind of cool. Let's see. Oh, okay, well, considering the coffee cantata, which is, again, caffeine being near and dear to my heart, I think it works out. So it says, with Cream and Sugar, the closest Bach ever came to writing a real opera was in his Cantata 211. It has a plot, it has recitatives and arias. It's simply called the Coffee Cantata. If money had been appropriated for costumes and scenery, it could easily have been an opera. Bach became quite an expert on coffee, by the way, and for years conducted weekly concerts at Zimmermann's Coffee House in Leipzig. And it says coffee break. The reason Bach picked coffee for his cantata is that coffee drinking used to be considered a wicked vice. All sorts of laws were passed against it, and some places even had spies roaming the city, sniffing the air and trying to catch people in the act of roasting coffee beans. It is disgusting to notice the increase in the quantity of coffee used by my subjects, read one edict from Frederick the Great. And this must be prevented. His Majesty was brought up on beer, and so were his ancestors and his officers. Many battles have been fought and won by soldiers nourished on beer, and the king does not believe that coffee-drinking soldiers can be depended upon to endure hardships or to beat his enemies in case of war. Women were also told that drinking coffee would make them sterile. Okay, so that's interesting. So, funny little anecdotes by Victor Borge. That's kind of funny and cool and weird. Anyway. Oh, hey, Ray. So, regarding the remasters, I don't know if I'm going to do CDs. I have the original CD version. I have a few of those left. But it won't be the remastered version. There's just be of the ones. I'm not sure I'm going to have the money to do full-on repressings of CDs. I'm not sure. So that would remain to be seen. However, if you're interested in 10 of the one of the one that exists, then you can DM me and we can work something out. And Dore, yes, I'm seeing that. Believe me, this was going through my head. This is Bach. I like Mozart. Dory is commenting and making a note about a piece that I wrote for the Meatballs Fluxus called This is Bach. I think it was called This is Bach, right? Was it actually called that? I want to say that the title was different because just to kind of throw it off, but um, yeah, that's another that's another album that I'm looking to try and remaster is the Meatballs Fluxus album as well. So maybe there'll be some word about that. Tell you what, I'm gonna go just because it might be a good segue to do that. I'm gonna segue into if anybody is still on here. I know someone was driving in her car. Angela Gray is listening on my phone in the car and drawing my ride home. Well, okay, Angela, I'm going to play something. I'm going to play a video now. So don't be looking at your screen. You'll still be able to hear stuff, but I'm going to play a video that is one of the Meatballs Fluxus things that I've been again trying to transfer over. Let me see here. Let's see. Just trying to find something that makes sense inside view. All right. Well, I'm going to play. Let's see. I'm going to play. Oh, that's sad. Okay. Where the heck is it? Okay. I have one in mind that I want to do. I just can't find it now. It's always the way. Where is it? Where is it? Okay. It's funny. I'm wondering where the Chicago show is. That's what I was I wanted to play that, but I can't seem to find it. I'd have to look. Okay, well, so maybe it's not here in this particular area, but what I'll do, actually, I think would be a good one to play. All right, so what I'm going to play is something. So what we did, this would have been 1991 potentially, I think, or 90 or 91. I'm not sure. And this was at the Roger Williams Park Temple. Next to the temple. We did a thing. We created a caged exhibit of meatballs. So in other words, we built a cage. We inhabited the cage for 2 days. 2 or 3 days. We slept in the cage. We, everything that an animal would do in the cage, everybody could see us do. So we created an area where we threw our waste, not our waste, but our garbage, and we played a set from inside that cage, and we took, we did all the things that you would do, like signs that said "Do not feed the meatballs," etc. So let me see if I can pull that one up, and all right, come on now. All right, and I'm going to full screen this so that way you should be able to hear and see it. Let me make sure that the audio will be there. Oh yeah, okay, it'll be there. Good. And you got to remember this is like VHS quality tape, so these are just the raw transfers of the tape, so they haven't really been remastered fully yet, so they kind of look typically VHS-y. But it'll give you a pretty good idea of you'll also get a pretty good idea of what I looked like back when I was 25 years old, when I still had hair. All those kinds of things. So anyway, here is that. Hang on one second.
is your shoe, and you over there. Come with us now to the egg farm before it's too late. But we must go now. And first, bring us meat for the journey so that we may be strong. Yes, bring us meat and we shall eat it, and you and I shall journey arm in arm from this place down the dusty road to the egg farm. But bring it now. It is an imperative that we leave. Go, rise up, everyone, you and you over there with your size 11 shoes, and you back there. Rise up, journey with us now, a nation of eggs, and we shall march down that road arm in arm from this field. Go, rise, eat meat, leave now. Get up and go to the egg farm. Dummy. 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 Dummy.
As soon as it's done.
Dummy.
Dummy. Tom, give me an E, please. Yeah, he got the blood. That's what. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Barney Moss, optometrist!
Nope, sorry. It's not an E. Nope. It's a T.
2, 1, 2, 3. Barney Moss, optometrist!
Is that any better? Or worse? How about now? Any better? How about now? Worse? Better? How about now? Better?
One, two, one, two, two. Barney Moss, optometrist!
Put this over your left eye. Now the other one.
One, two, three. I didn't mean to do it, honest to God. It was all. I was supposed to come out with this big glass egg on my head, honest as shit, and then I was just gonna come out. I didn't know he was gonna stick his head in first. That wasn't in the script. And Barney Moss, optometrist.
Don't squint.
Two, one, two, three.
Thank you.
Tom, can you give me another E, please?
Well, we will now leave the world of the optometrist's office, and we invite you to take a journey with us. No, not to the egg farm, but down the mighty Pawtuxet River. We're going to journey to my hometown, to your hometown, West Warwick. Yes, you can put your hands over your heart if you like. This is the theme song of West Warwick's 75th anniversary, called West Warwick, Queen of the Valley. And just imagine yourself in a little canoe, starting on the north branch of the river, because there are two branches. There's a north and south to the Pawtuxet River. The north branch, which starts at the Situate Reservoir, comes through.
Tell us about it, Jerry.
Jackson Flats, where the water's still clean, past the old PV dye mill, which is no longer the PV dye mill, but as a child, I remember the PV dye mill that would turn the river fluorescent yellow,
What color was that, Jerry?
a fluorescent green, and then down through Clyde and Phoenix and Hardick, and then the North Branch, which starts up by Johnson's Pond and over through by Lake Tyoke, down past Mr. V's Diner, and down through Crompton and Centerville, and the band's ready. The band's not ready. I'll tell you more. Yes, the Queen of the Valley was the royal mill where Fruit of the Loom was invented in West Warwick. If you're wearing Fruit of the Loom underwear, you can be glad. They're ready now, I think. 1, 2, 3, 1. Take a walk with me by the banks of the river as the evening sun goes down. All orange and black lift up our voices in the praise of our town. Oh, West Warwick, Queen of the Valley, River Pawtuxet flows through your heart like castles from a dream. All the cotton mills seem to be watching over us as each new day starts. From Phoenix to Arctic, from Natick to Crompton, River Point, Westcott, Lippet, and Clyde. From Prospect Hill to Old Centerville, can we make this renewal one of promise and pride? Oh, West Warwick, Queen of the Valley, River Pawtuxet flows through your heart like castles from a dream. All the cotton mills seem to be watching over us as each new day starts. Like castles from a dream, all the cotton mills seem to be watching over us as each new day starts. Jim's going to explain this one to you. That's part of it.
This is our great epic work. We call this the Symphony of Found Sounds. And it's a symphony in 4 movements. And before we get on to it, we'd just like to introduce the cast of characters here. On the end, in the black shirt, is Umberto Crenca on flute and drums. To my right, on bass guitar, is Gerard Hero. In the center, on guitar, is Joseph Walger. In the back, in the green shirt, on keyboards, is Tom Hurdle. And my name is James Finnerty. We're called Meatballs Fluxus, and we're based out of AS220, which is an art space in downtown Providence. So now, without any further ado, the Symphony of Found Sounds, symphony in 4 movements. The first movement we call 5 Screaming Idiots. second movement we entitle Tom Hurdle being kicked down the stairs in a bucket. And our third movement we call 5 seconds of the world's most obnoxious sound. 5 seconds of the world's most obnoxious sound. Of course, folks, we always do an encore of that movement. And now we'd like to prepare for our grand finale, final movement, movement number 4. We entitle this one Pots and Pans. Thank you very much.
If you'd like to see that piece again, it will be performed in the New England Composers Festival in December in Hartford, Connecticut. And we are Meatballs Fluxus. We perform regularly at AS220. Thank you. I could share.
Chair for sale.
So I'm going to voice over a little bit of this while you're seeing it. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of folks that I'm not sure who's even taking this footage. I don't know if it's Sue Clausen or someone else.
That's good because they were wild.
Not enough.
They were really going.
Should have got more.
Yeah.
I'm not used to doing this.
Oh, maybe Richard Goulis got it.
Hey,
Whose camera?
the parks, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I borrowed it from Bob. I just want everything in this cage on tape. All that nice trash down there. They got trash. They got a microphone right there.
Hey, it's really nice.
I was playing Tim Buckley's Star Sailor album as background music.
Jim's chair.
Sue, it's nap time.
Nice then.
The song is almost over. Have some donuts and milk. Have some donuts and milk in that paper bag over there before you nap. Before you nap, it might be good.
That was our TV, our PA, all of our accoutrements. Yeah, baby Richard for sure. Richard Goulis. Still got that guitar too. Is Manny? Oh, we signed pictures of Lou Costello. We were signing pictures of Lou Costello for people.
How do you get out of this joint?
You can't.
Once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
Good thing I brought my wire cutters. Wait a minute, I forgot them. I don't have them. I can't take it. I gotta get out of here. Especially the crust. Especially the crust. Can't do anything in this hand. Oh, shit.
Getting ready for your nap? Nap time. Hey, you over there, aren't you taking your nap?
Yeah, I'm looking for my, I need some plastic.
Plastic? You sleep with plastic? Oh, he's taking his nap.
The kids that came to see this were fascinated, oddly enough.
Carrie,
It's really funny. Jerry's taking a nap. So, yeah, this is Meatballs Fluxus. This is what we would do.
Ready?
Nap time. Nap time.
Hey, that hominid over there isn't getting ready for his nap. That one.
Should I tell him?
Huh?
Should I tell him?
Yeah. Tell him it's nap time. Hey.
Nap time. I want to listen. He's unruly.
Hey. Hey, you're supposed to take a nap. You're supposed to take a nap, you. What's he doing?
Oh, let him alone.
All right.
Oh my God. No.
Hmm.
Bean chair.
Yeah.
I think that's Jonathan Thomas.
So I don't even think, ask the other guys, I don't even think they have to worry about me. Ask the other guys, but I don't think
Somebody
that's
tell him that was a bean chair, bean bag, and they just like check.
Okay. So that's that's a little taste of yeah, that. So yeah, that was Meatballs Fluxus, folks. That was the thing that happened again, but most starting at AS220 back in 1985, going through until about 1994, and packed a lot of time into that. Did a little bit of a tour. In 1990, we did a little more touring in 91, or we did like some one-off things in New Jersey and Chicago and a few other places. And, you know, the highest or the peak of whatever we did at one point was we at one point had been commissioned to do a pilot or like a clip film thing for PBS, actually, oddly enough. And Jeff Adams recorded us doing a number of things, and this was meant to be sort of an example of what we could potentially do if we were to get a show on PBS, right? You know, and obviously what we put together, it's like anybody watching it would have gone like, what is this? I'm not going to play it tonight, but I'll at some point down the road I'll play that because it's pretty fucking funny. So it's interesting. You know, you see the faces in the crowd of that. You know, Rhode Island's a small state, so more than likely you're gonna see folks that we remember or that that we don't see much of anymore or whatever. And you know, it's the nature of change, I suppose, for good or bad. So I figure what I'll do for tonight, you know, we've done a little bit of everything. We've had a little bit of music. We've had a little bit of video, silly video, comedy. We've had some reading. And it's about 10:15 now. I figure, why don't I do this? Why don't I'm going to do another quick random story. And maybe I'll play one more song, and then I'll call it a night. How does that sound? So I'm gonna go back to my little random display, my random dice here. And we're gonna roll it again. We got 15. We got 21. Oh, I tried this before. I hit 21 before, and it was the letter U, and I don't have anything. starting with the letter U. So I'm going to try that again, okay? Let's see. I'm going to roll. Okay, so it's 15, 16, 17, 19. Letter S. Okay, that has a lot more possibilities. So let me see here. So the letter S. There's got to be a ton of stuff starting with the letter S. Ah, okay, perfect. Another sort of, let's see, actually, it's a good Spike Milligan one. Okay. Well, so, for those of you, I'm sure, who may be old enough to know, like me, for those of you who might remember someone by the name of Spike Milligan, he was an English comic performer, writer, from starting in the 50s. He was in a thing called The Goon Show with Peter Sellers and Harry Seacombe as a radio show, of all things, of course. Again, another big influence on me, I think, and on a lot of ways, especially in my humor. He's a very, very silly, clever, odd man. He has been at times thought of as the funniest person ever to have lived. So do the math of that one. And I think I might have to wholeheartedly agree on that. If you go to YouTube and look up Spike Milligan, and there's one clip that it personifies him perfectly, of him getting like a Lifetime Achievement Award. And he was like, in his 80s. He was, kind of frail, but so he's going up to the stage. He's getting this Lifetime Achievement Award, and he's very moved and all that. And there's a letter from at the time Prince Harry, who was a big Goons fan. And just go to YouTube and look for that clip, and it gives you an idea of not only how quick he was, and even at that age, how irreverent he was, but just how goddamn funny he was. So, I have the letter S. We have a number of things, but I think the perfect thing would be a book called The Bedside Milligan. Since we're closing in on going to bed, potentially. All right. So, I'm going to hit the dice again and see what page we're going to go to. Okay, so, page 10. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Okay, this is a very short poem. These are very, very short, so I may have to just do a bunch of these. Samson and Delilah. As he pushed the pillars apart, Samson was appalled, for just before the palace fell in, Delilah said, "He's bald." There you go. Like I said, he's very 8, 6, 12, 13, 14. So page 19. Okay. Okay, this is sort of like in a handwritten kind of graphic. Mr. Timothy Pringle lived on his own as he was single. Returning from work in the evening gloom, he found an elephant in his room. It had a label round its neck. "My name is Doris Eileen Beck." Even if the name was Jim, it didn't really help poor Tim. "Is that elephant a her or he?" asked Mr. Screws, the landlady. Tim said, "It's a female elephant. Why? No women in rooms," was the stern reply. Okay, we'll do another one. Okay, let's see. What do we got? 9, 5, 15. Page 19 again? No, I just did that one. Come on now. Give me another number. Here we go. 10, let's see, 15, 16, 17, 18. Are you kidding me? It keeps coming up 19. That's stupid. Let's try this again. I'm not reading it 3 times. So that's Spike Milligan being a dick. It's like, I'm not going to read it 3 times. Come on, Spike. Let's see. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, page 16. That's a little better. It's a graphic. It's basically, dude. Let's try it again. And let's see. 5, so that's 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. Wow, it keeps sending around the same pages here. Okay. Oh, no, it's the same thing as that? Oh, no. He really wants me to keep reading that same page, because what it is page 18 is the typewritten version of that Timothy Pringle one that I just did. Let's see. 5, 10, 21? Did I just do 21? This is okay. Very, very, very clearly, it was something he wrote like out of nowhere. It says, on a train to Liverpool, Easter Monday, 1967. Envoy, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Get it out with Optrex. What a strange man. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Page 11. All right. It's called Time, Gentlemen. A tick, a tock goes grandfather clock. All through the night and every hour with tremendous power, the clock would start to chime. And may I say, it's a noisy way for it to tell the time. Clearly, these were done for children. He was very much a lover of children, as you can tell. Very childlike in his own countenance. Once again, 21. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna minimize the number of either that or I maximize the number. I'm gonna roll 7 dice and see what happens, because I seem to be centered around the same pages. Let's see. 10, 11, 12. So that's 10. It's 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 21, 23. It's like he wants me to read the whole damn book. That's a weird. No, so I'm going to do a different one. Let's see. I'm going to go to 3 dice and see what happens. 10, 11. I did 11. So apparently the dice thing doesn't work very well. I think I need a different thing, because it keeps going to the same page for some reason. So I'm gonna I'll do one more from this other book. It says the 101 best and only limericks of Spike Milligan. Let's see. There was a young man from Blighty who wore a transparent nightie. The vicar said, "Son, it's really not done. It's not wrong, but it's also not righty." A man who moved to Australia said, "Please readdress all my mail here, care of Box 29, Newcastle-on-Tyne. No wonder it was all a failure." There was an old pearl from Leeds who had a thing about beads. He would sew them on clothes. Some he'd stuff up his nose. It seemed to suffice all his needs. A man called J. Arthur Rank bought a yacht from a millionaire Yank. It's the safest yet built, insured to the hilt. It made no difference. It sank. A very sick man from Bled arose every dawn from his bed. He worked 12 hours a day without food, without pay. Surprise, surprise, he's dead. He's also very dark sometimes. A camel who had 2 humps thought he had got the mumps. A doctor called Murray said, "Camel, don't worry. They're not mumps. They're 2 lumps caused by the thumps." Not sure what that means. Excuse me. A combustible woman from Thang exploded one day with a bang. The maid then rushed in and said with a grin, "Pardon me, madam, you rang?" You're very silly. Anyway, that's me reading. All right, so I've got a couple more minutes. I'll end with one more song, and then I'm going to end for the night, I think. So let's see. I'm going to play something from the... Let's see. Oh, you know what I could play? That's right. You know what I could play? I'm going to play something from a band I was in the 80s. Let's see, what would it have been? Probably 83 to 87 or 88 or something like that. I was in a band with Keith Munslow and his brother Stan Munslow, and we were called Curio. Well, at first we were called... Okay, let me back up. In high school, I was in a band with a bunch of people. We called ourselves Gossamer Wing. We were 7. There were 7 of us. I was in the band with Keith Munslow. That band broke up. Keith and I went on to do this thing called Partial Assembly, which was just a short tape we did of a few songs of just the two of us doing all the instruments and singing. Then we added Stan Munslow and a couple of different bass players, and we called ourselves Noon Improved. And then that morphed into Curio, which was just the 3 of us. And I ended up playing bass because no one else would play bass, and sang lead and all that. And so we put out a few little cassette thingies, and then we put out one album. And then we broke up not long after that. But then back in 2001, we got back together and put together like a little CD of the sort of best of those days, some odds and sods, a few new songs, a few redos of some of the older songs, etc. And it actually came out pretty good. It was just a nice little document of the work we did together. And let's see if I can let me find one that, one of the ones that we redid. Yeah. Here is actually kind of a funky one. It's called How Do You Think These Things Begin?
You're standing in the back of my mind, shaking your
All right. That was Curio doing How Do You Think These Things Begin? And yeah, I could probably record could probably do with a little bit of a remaster as well. Who knows? But I'd have to work with I'd have to let Keith and Stan know if that's something they would be interested in hearing or not. So anyway, I've been up here for a couple hours now, or 2.5 hours. Actually, it's the longest show I've done so far. Like I said, just slowly kind of getting used to the idea of doing something like this. It'd be great if, if someone would pay me the money, I'd do a full-on radio show, do a 4-hour thing like they used to do in the old days kind of thing, where I played music and did this and that and the other. That would be nice to do. I had fun. Fun doing little readings, again, watching some video, since we're talking audio and video, why the hell not? To do a little watching of some old video things, this and that. So anyway, I'm going to shut her down for the night. It is Friday night. That way I can go and kind of just chill out with the cat before I go to sleep, before the weekend hits, and I got some work to do and all that. But I should be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock to do the same, Saturday night. So it'll be Saturday the 19th. Don't know what's on the docket. I will kind of make it up as I go along a little bit, as I have been doing. But I suppose it'll be much the same. Some music, maybe some more video treats, some more readings. Who knows? Like I said, I'm going to try and see if I can maybe get some guest stars to come and chat with me about this, that, or the other, for sure. But anyway, so thanks for hanging out with me on a Friday night. Like I said, it's what we can do for now to stay safe, since we can't get together in person for the moment. And we need to keep it that way until we can be safe. So, it's frustrating as hell. It's been a rough year, hasn't it, for everybody? And I think that, we have a little ways to go. And I think if I can be, someone the other day mentioned that they had a bad day and that hanging out with me kind of was helpful. So I kind of took that to heart. I like the idea that if just a little bit of, hanging out, just shooting the shit, listening to some tunes, this and that, can just kind of take away from the day a little bit. If I can be helpful in that way, there's not many ways I can be helpful, put it that way, to other folks. I certainly don't have the, I wouldn't have the stomach to be a frontline worker in a hospital. That's for sure. So that's why I'm not a doctor or a nurse. However, those are the folks that are kind of going to save our ass. It's them for sure. And so if you know anybody, friends, family, or whatever, who are doing that work right now, please do what you can to support them in as best a way as possible. Thankfully, the vaccine is finally getting to those folks. There was a touching picture up online today of a nurse getting the vaccine, and she basically had broken down, like weeping, because of what she has seen this year. So I think there's room for hope for change. And I really want to emphasize that if I can. I know I can be a Mr. Doom and Gloom for sure, and those who know me know that I don't suffer fools gladly, and unfortunately there are an awful lot of fools lately. So that said, I'd like to think that there's a little bit of hope at the end of this horrible fucking year. On that note, do what you can to make this holiday season, tolerable for people. If that's all we can do, then that's all we can do, and that's enough. So anyway, I'm gonna shut her down. It's about 20 minutes of 11. I will hopefully be around tomorrow night, assuming there's no problems. So far, knock wood, I haven't had any tech problems for a few days, so that's a good sign. So tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. That's the idea, is that I do this every night at 8 o'clock. through the month of December. And I got a lot of work to do to get caught up on YouTube. What I've been doing is recording these as well so that I can put them up on YouTube if people want to listen to them later. But I've got a few that I've got to edit some things, make them a little tighter and stuff. So I'm going to try and do that this weekend. So look up on my channel on YouTube as well if you want to revisit some of this stuff. And I guess we'll go from there. So thanks everybody again for popping in tonight, and I hope to see you online soon. And got to find the right button. Got to find the button to actually turn it off. All right, folks, I'm going to say goodnight. Good night.